Welcome to the best football show. I'm Brian Baldinger, and you can find me all over the internet at Baldy NFL on every platform. I don't care if it's YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or X, you name it. I'm on it. Threads at Baldy NFL. You can find this show by downloading a free Odyssey app, all right? And then look up the best football show. You can like, subscribe. You can promote it, tell your friends about it. We're here just nearly every day. And today I am presently on the Miracle Mile in downtown Chicago, right on Michigan Avenue. You can hear some of the sirens going off right now as I get ready to head to Hallis Hall to watch the Bears. They practice. It's 10 o'clock in the morning here in Chicago. Bears practice at 1 o'clock today. I'll be leaving to go up there after this. Looking forward to seeing Ben Johnson, Caleb. But I'd like to spend today with an overview of the AFC North. We have not touched that division yet. I've seen 3 of the 4 teams. I've seen both on my tour, which started July 25th. It is now August 4th. I have seen Baltimore twice. I've seen the Cleveland Browns, and I've seen the Pittsburgh Steelers. So last Tuesday, I was in Berea, Ohio, to watch the Browns. I then went to Latrobe the next day. But let's just start with the look at the Baltimore Ravens and really the team that's favored to win the AFC North. Because when you go out there to Baltimore, it's just impressive. It's impressive the way they practice. The facility is amazing what Steve Bisciotti has built. They call it the Palace. It is a palace. They just expanded the weight room and the jacuzzi and all of the training room facilities are amazing. So let's just start with Baltimore, because if you start with Baltimore, they've won this division the last couple seasons. Lamar has played great. You gotta give Todd Monken a lot of credit. He came from Georgia. He's been there now. This is his 3rd season, and Lamar has improved each of the last 2 years dramatically. I mean, he should have been the MVP last year. The guy threw 41 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions, and he ran for 975 yards. And the complement of Derrick Henry with him makes that offense nearly impossible to stop. You can slow it down. You can get to 3rd down and hopefully get Derrick Henry off the field and affect Lamar, get to him, blitz him, chase him, get a free hitter at him, make him hold the ball. You can do a lot of those things. He can still make a lot happen. But, I mean, that's what you kind of hope for, getting the 3rd and long. And then, hopefully you can get off the field on 3rd down when usually Lamar's not on there. Usually, Justice Hill is on the field, maybe Keaton Mitchell, the player that was sensational 2 years ago for 3 games. Maybe he's on the field. But trying to defend Lamar right now is really difficult. And they've added Nuke. They added DeAndre Hopkins to go with Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers and the 2 tight ends, Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews. Sorry. There's really not a weakness to the offense. You can say, okay, well, they got to replace, a left guard, maybe. It looks like you're going to bring back the same starting offensive line. Voorhees will be the left guard. Faalele will be the right guard. Linderbaum, Rosengarten played great at right tackle once he settled in last year, and Stanley had a great season. And then you got Patrick Ricard, that is he's their X factor on offense, all the different things that he can do. And I met Patrick Ricard, talked to him the other day. The guy is just a block of granite. So anyways, that's the offense. And, Derrick Henry said, he's motivated to get to 2,000. If he gets to 2,000, Adam Sandler's already told him at the premiere of his last movie that if Derrick Henry gets to 2,000, he's putting him in a movie. Okay, I mean, if that motivates Derrick Henry, I mean, I don't think he needs much, but he's a big little kid, and he loves Adam Sandler. He'd love to be in a movie, whatever role that is. So it's interesting. I talked to Lamar for quite a while last Monday, and he's a big fan of Baldy's breakdowns, watches a lot of them. But I asked him if he ever gets tired, because we were out there in the day where it was soupy. It was 85% humidity, 90-something degrees. And he just ran around like nothing. Like it didn't faze him. He said when he competes, he doesn't get tired. Write it down. When I'm competing, I don't get tired. I mean, it's a mindset. Whether he does or not, it's a mindset. I don't get tired. I'm here to compete. I'm here to win. That kind of like tells you a lot about Lamar. Like, I don't know. I asked him, like, how do you improve upon 41-4, 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions? And he said he really didn't know. Just great decisions with the ball. We got another guy and DeAndre Hopkins to throw to. In fact, in a red zone drill last Monday, he threw a big right hand up in the back of the end zone, one-handed catch, touchdown, finished that drive. Then you go to the defense. Zach Orr comes back for a second year. Zach Orr was a first-time defensive coordinator last year, former player. It took the team. They weren't good the first half of the season. They were breaking down, bad communication, safety play was terrible. A lot of things went wrong the first half of the season. Second half of the season was a different story. Communication got a lot better, made some changes on defense. Roquan Smith got into really good shape. The guys up front, the horses, Van Noy and Matabike, and Owe had a great season. But they've added Mike Green. Mike Green was drafted at the bottom of the second round out of Marshall. Got in some trouble at Virginia, paid for his whatever indiscretions he had. I don't know. I don't read any of that stuff. I thought he was clear. I know his agent. I thought he was going to be a mid-first round pick. To me, you got Abdul Carter and, Jalen Walker and all these guys out there. I thought the best pure pass rusher in the draft outside of Abdul Carter and his, freaky movement was Mike Green. And now Mike Green comes to Baltimore, where they know what good pass rushers look like on this team. I mean, since this organization started Baltimore in 1996, they've had a ton of them. T. Sizzle comes to mind. But they've had a lot of great ones. But you give them to Chuck Smith, who's their pass rush specialist coach, and watch this guy take off. I mean, there's no secret. Kyle Van Noy has been in this league a long time. His 2 best years of rushing the passer have been in Baltimore. Sack numbers, 12 last year, most he's ever had. Chuck Smith makes a difference. So then you look at Malachi Starks to go with, Kyle Hamilton at safety. Could be the best tandem of safeties in football. We got to see what Malachi looks like. He's a rookie. I don't want to put him in the Pro Bowl yet, but I thought he was the best safety in the draft. Think about it. They just sat there. The Ravens just do what the Ravens do. They sat there, waited their turn when the draft came to them. Malachi Starks on the board. They need a safety. Best safety the draft falls to them. During the second round, bottom of the second round, where they usually pick, bottom of a round, and there's Mike Green. I mean, the guy's talented. So, like, Baltimore is loaded. They're the team to beat. And then you could say, okay, let's go to Latrobe. I was in Pittsburgh, because I think Pittsburgh and Cincinnati battles it out for second place and to compete with Baltimore. And, I talked to Slay. I saw Jalen Ramsey wave to Aaron Rodgers. I mean, they all have a lot of age on them. Now, none of them are done. All of them can still play. Now, what level they can play at is a question. And can they all stay healthy? That's a question mark at that age. Slay's in his 13th year. Unbelievable competitor. Great player. They've added a lot of veteran players to this team. So I guess the real question is, does Aaron Rodgers have enough? Does he have enough around him? We know that he's got DK. All right. We know that there's Calvin Austin and a young Roman Wilson who was injured last year. We know he's got tight ends. Darnell Washington is, a 6'7" freak in Freiermuth. We know they've got players. Is it enough? You hear about rumors about being interested in another receiver. I feel like they need a receiver to complete this offense. I don't know if Terry McLaurin's in place or not. Don't know what the status is. But I feel like they're a little short. Caleb Johnson, the rookie running back, looks good. Him and Jalen Warren should be fine. Now the question is, can the offensive line stay healthy? Can the group of Troy Fautano, McCormick, Frazier, Seumalo, and Jones be good enough? Can they stay healthy? Because they've had trouble doing that. Troy Fautano got hurt in the first game last year. Broderick Jones has been banged up. Seumalo is usually very dependable. But I don't know if he's even practiced yet. He wasn't practicing when I was there last Wednesday. But they've been drafting to build a line. I know Andy Weidel and Omar Khan. It's been a priority. They haven't stayed healthy. They've had changes. But I feel like Zach Frazier, they know what a center looks like in Pittsburgh. I'm excited. I'm excited for it. Because even if they build a great line, they can run the ball. Aaron still has to stay healthy for 17 games. It's been a while now since he can say that. And you don't typically get healthier with age. He was banged up last year early, and he didn't play well. He was in a hurry to get the ball out of his hands. He was rushing things. I don't care who you are. The arm is still great. I mean, you can look at all the slow motion passes he makes in practice, and one's prettier than the other. But he did the same thing in New York the last 2 years. Did the same thing in Green Bay. You just look at, at one point he led the league in yards per attempt, well over 9 yards an attempt. It's a benchmark, all right, of you're getting the ball down the field. You're hanging on to it. You're holding it. You're allowing the big plays to develop. Unless you're just throwing quick go routes off the edge, and those are low percentage throws for the most part. Even if you're throwing a DK, it's a low percentage throw. So he did a lot of that last year to Garrett and to guys there in New York. I'm concerned about can Aaron stay healthy, because when his legs were banged up last year, he wasn't very effective. He finished the season strong as he got healthier, no question. The Week 8 game on Halloween night against Houston, he was great. But he had trouble finishing games and getting the ball with a chance to win games. So I'm anxious to see how Aaron did the health. That defensively, they should be good. They drafted 2 defensive linemen, TJ's in camp. They draft a outside linebacker out of Ohio State. Nick Herbig is there. Highsmith. Like they're loaded at pass. The defensive line should be good. Can the secondary stay healthy? Question mark right now. Not because of any other reason except that they've got a lot of age back there. Okay, let's go to Cincinnati, because last year Joe Burrow probably can't play a whole lot better than what he played. Jamar was awesome. T was great. But I think the offensive line is a question mark. They got a rookie left guard, Dylan Fairchild, out of Georgia. He's coming in there, between Karras and between Zeus. Aurelius Mims started last year at right tackle. He's got to play better. Does not have a lot of experience coming out of college, but he's got a world of potential and a world of talent. If they stay healthy up front and they come together, they should run the ball just fine. And Joe should have plenty of time to find his receivers. Okay. Defensively, it's hard. I mean, Trey Hendrickson isn't there. We don't know what the rookie is doing right now. They're trying to build a defensive front. It hasn't gone well. It starts up front. I don't care who your defensive coordinator is. They had a great one in Lou Anarumo. He was the fall guy when things fell apart. They put up 30 points in games last year and lost. Lost to the Ravens twice in shootouts. Defensively, they couldn't hold people. So they had question marks at defensive tackle all year. They're still there. They're replacing, some linebackers. So it's a question mark, right? It's just a big question mark on Cincinnati's defense right now. They should they should score a lot of points. Now, can they get the ball back for Joe? Extra at bats, the way Pittsburgh did last year, leading the league in takeaways and getting the ball back to their quarterbacks. They helped them get to 10 wins. If Cincinnati's going to make the playoffs, they got to make a big jump defensively. All right, so they need Hendrickson in there. They need the rookie to flash right now, and that's been a real question mark to this point. And then finally, let's get to Cleveland. I saw Cleveland last Tuesday, a week ago. Obviously, everybody's talking about the quarterbacks. They're still talking about the quarterbacks. Joe Flacco, when I was there, here's how the reps went. Joe would get 5. Dylan Gabriel would get 3. And Shedeur Sanders would get 2. That's kind of like if you had a 10-play script, that's how it went. And that was the order. And that was without Kenny Pickett. Now, Pickett's been, had a nagging hamstring. Shedeur's arm is evidently, suffering from soreness. It happens to quarterbacks. All of them have gone through this training camp before. So they signed Snoop Huntley. Snoop started in Cleveland last year, ended up in Miami, started in Miami last year. It was quarterback competition last year. It was Snoop was there, along with a bunch of other guys that aren't there. It doesn't matter. Snoop's back. He knows the offense. So they bring him back. He's on the street. Now they have 5 quarterbacks on the roster. It's hard. Joe looks to me like he's the unanimous choice. I don't even know if Pickett can create a competition with the time that he's missing right now. The offensive line, look, I talked to all the guys. I talked to Batonio and talked to Ethan Posick and Wyatt Teller, and I talked to, big left tackle right there. I call him the Pacific Manta. They have, I saw Tyler Conklin. Like, they have a chance up front to be good. The running back situation should be fine. They should run the ball well. That interior 3 of Teller and Posick and Batonio is as good as there is in the league and has been. And they don't look like they're ready to slow down. They play a lot of snaps. They like to play. They practice every day. They're a good group. Defensively, when I was there, they lost Martin. They lost Martin Emerson, right? Yeah, they lost Martin Emerson Jr. for the season. Achilles. Jim Schwartz played – maybe New Orleans played more man coverage, but not much more than what Cleveland played. And they had 3 guys, in Denzel Ward, Newsome, and Emerson, that would just go out there and challenge him, and then allow Miles to get after it. And whoever else was on that defensive line, including now Mason Graham, the rookie, 5th pick in the draft. So I don't know if they can still play that style. It remains to be seen. I know this. When I watched them, they were starting 2 rookies. They're starting the first-round pick, Mason Graham, and they're starting their second-round pick, Carson Schwessinger, out of UCLA. And it looks like I asked him if he's, because he never came off the field when I was there. Nickel, dime, pass rush situations, base, he was on the field. So I think he's going to wear the green dot. I think he's going to end up being the captain of the defense. They've had a lot of turnover at linebacker over the years. So I feel like those are 2 guys you can really watch and check out. Replacing Martin Emerson Jr. is going to be tough. And then the quarterback battle. But Baltimore is the team to beat in the AFC North. We'll break it down team by team in our next session. But Baltimore, Philadelphia, there's a couple teams. I'm going to see Minnesota still, Detroit. There's some teams that are loaded in the NFL. Baltimore is one of those teams that looks loaded. They've drafted well. They draft and develop. And I believe they've got the league's best player in Lamar Jackson. So 3rd year with Todd Monken. I think it's going to go well for Baltimore. I know Buffalo and Baltimore have got to get, move on in the playoffs and get to a Super Bowl and have a chance to win it. I believe that either one of those teams can, but I think Baltimore, if you pick Baltimore to win the AFC, I don't think that you're outlandish or out of line. They are just – and they're well coached, and they have talent, and they're locked and loaded. All right, that's been the best football show. I got to get up to Alice Hall here, go watch Caleb and Ben and Chicago Bears right now and see what's going on. I'll get to Minnesota tomorrow, and I'll get back to you guys real soon. Thanks for joining me, everybody. This has been the best football show.